So growing up throughout primary school and high school, I never realized how much of an impact that teachers had on me and my personal development and what they did for me. And it was only after I finished school that I realized how much of a respect I have for the teaching profession and how much of a challenge being a teacher is. And it's definitely not a job that just anybody can do. And I think that's my biggest motivation is the challenge of being a good teacher, because being a teacher doesn't mean you just yell at kids and tell them what to do all day. It embodies so much more in the sense that you have to be a child's parent, friend, role model, someone to look up to, a guardian, someone that they can approach and talk to about anything. And I feel like these sort of traits are something that I can imagine myself having, and definitely traits that would better me as a person and my own personal development and who I want to be. And I think the rewarding aspect of teaching is this another motivation is seeing how your influence on children and what you do, even the most minor things can have a massive impact on the development and what they do and who they become. And I think that is probably the biggest motivation of being a teacher. As for the years I want to teach, I definitely want to focus on sort of early adolescence years, so about year 5 to 7. I feel like these later years, for me personally, that's when teachers had the biggest impact on my development and who I became. And I feel like it's because this is sort of the stage before we hit puberty or become a teenager and go into high school, and that's probably the most daunting experience I remember as being that sort of years of my life. And I feel like that guidance and that's the time where influence of pushing children and students in the right direction at that point of life can really set them up for who they become and prepare them for high school, and then later on prepare them for life. As far as living in a digital world and the technologies we have today and how that would influence me as a teacher, I definitely see it being a challenge in the sense that growing up in primary school and in high school, we did have that sort of technology available, but not to the extent that we have today. And how laptops, iPads, and that sort of computers are more common in the classroom and teaching experience. If anything, I would use my experiences, especially in uni, where all my learning is done majority on the computer or technologies, and how I've used that as a beneficial factor for my learning and how I could apply that to my own teaching ability as a teacher. If anything, I can see a good mixture of technology as well as a face to face and verbal approach as being the best for a child's development and learning. And if anything, I feel like it's too early to call sort of the type of teacher I would be, as being a teacher and the other teachers I work with and what I learned in this course throughout uni will definitely shape my ideas of the type of teacher I would want to be. But I definitely feel like this technological aspect of teaching is going to have the biggest impact. And if anything, I hope I can use technology in the most beneficial way so my students would be able to learn and reach the best of their abilities, which is what I want as a teacher.